Hi, guys. My name is Tara Owens. I'm direct to Jim Larson. If you came here wanting to hear Jim tonight, you'll have to come back next week. But I am super excited to be able to present to you tonight. And we're going to talk a lot about recruiting tonight and about building and what that looks like and how you do it. And we're even at the end of this going to get pretty deep time committing into an interview script. And we're going to talk about how to run your interviews and what you're looking for. So the title of this tonight is So You Say You Want to Build, right? I think it's so exciting. It's so interesting. When I first started, it seemed like on every single call that I was on, eh, people would ask, how soon did you start building your agency? And without question, every single agent that was being interviewed, their answer was always not soon enough. I should have started building a lot sooner. And to me, that is so interesting because building feels like a really big commitment, and it's not. What's incredible about the symmetry model is that we have the built-in capability of a plug and play model. So if you have friends, if you have family, if you have former coworkers, if you have cold market that want to jump into this business, it is so easy to plug them into our symmetry model and help them get successful very quickly. So I will go ahead and say, if you are planning on this being your career, which frankly, if you're on this call, then that should be your plan. If you're planning on this being your career and this being your business, and you want the potential to hit, 115, 130, you want to hit equity partner, start building now, start planting the seeds and doing some of these things immediately to start building your agency. When I was brand new, I recruited about 3 of my really good friends to come and do it with me. And y'all, it was so much fun to be able to reach out to those friends when I didn't know what I was doing. And it was a whole lot easier to reach out to them and say, hey, I don't know how to find this. Do you? And they'd be like, I do know how to find it. And they would help me. And then on the opposite side, I was able to help them. So link arms with some people. Tell some people, hey, I'm new to this. I'm doing this. Come do it with me. So when you start thinking about building, what's it really gonna take? So first and foremost, seems kind of elementary, right? But it's going to take people, right? To build a team of your own, to start getting on the team leaderboards and the key leaderboards and become an agency owner. You got to have people. So today we're going to talk about where do you find those people? How do you find those people? What are the resources that you can use to find those people? You're also going to need some time. So there's so many trainings about how we work our calendars, but when you start building, you're going to want to carve out some time in your calendar, not only for, obviously you'll have a lot of your time carved out for working your leads, but you'll have to have some carved out time that's specific to recruiting, some time set aside for interviewing, some time set aside for refining your recruiting script, right? Some time set aside for learning that. So you're going to need to figure out a little bit of a balance. It doesn't have to be 50-50, but there does have to be some time. You're going to have resources. You're going to need some things that are going to make you successful in that, and we'll talk about that. And then you're going to need practice. When you start dialing leads, are you any good in the beginning? Nope. If you think you are, nope, you're not, right? You need practice. The more you do it, the better you get at it. And so it's the same with recruiting. And so we'll talk a little bit about what interviewing looks like and how you get better at that craft, because it is a craft. One of the things that I think makes me unique in this space is I was a professional recruiter, guys. I did this for 30 years. That was my job before I came. So there's a lot of things that I have been able to pull from my past experiences into this industry and really take and have had them be able to take hold. So I'm happy to share those with you tonight. I'm actually really excited about it. So Jamie Susie has this philosophy. Do you know that Jamie Susie has never spent a single penny on recruiting? Not one. She's never written, she's not ever done a job ad. She's never gone to Craigslist. She's never gone. Every single thing that she has built has come from her warm market. Now, Jamie had a huge following before we got here or before she got here, but she is a professional at warm market recruiting. We have so many of them, and I'm going to show you some examples here in a minute of warm market recruiting. Let's talk about who your warm market is. So drop in the chat, who would be an example of someone from your warm market that you might recruit? Friends? Absolutely. Yep. Facebook friends, old colleagues, my cousin, 100%. Former workmates, college roommates. I saw JT in a restaurant at convention this year, recruiting every single restaurant waiter that we ever had. That man handed out his business card to every waiter that was around. Your son, your family, 100%. Warm market isn't always someone even that you know really well. How many of you on Facebook are connected to people that you went to high school with, and in my case, have not seen them in 37 years? But I know everything about Tammy and her family, right? I haven't seen her since we walked across the stage at high school, but man, I'm connected with her, right? So your presence on social media is a really good way to attract your warm market. And Jamie always says, people need to know 3 things when you are approaching your warm market from a social media perspective. They need to know what you do. What do? You sell life insurance. They need to know that you love it. And they need to know that you are hiring. Now, that second one, that you love it, sometimes is pretty challenging, because when we have really challenging days every now and then, right, it's hard to go out on Facebook and say, this is the best day ever, but we have to constantly be painting ourselves in a way that intrigues people, that makes them want to know more about what we do. And while there are a lot of different ways to talk about that on warm market or to your warm market, I want to show you just a few examples. So Steph Gant a few days ago posted this post. And by the way, if you haven't already on social media gone and followed every one of these people, go do it now, right? Go follow these people, go follow me. I want to help you build your business. You're going to help me. We're going to like each other's comments. We're going to share. We're going to do those things because that helps with the algorithms. But here, look at the picture that Steph painted the other day to her network. Just 2.5 years ago, I was working part-time as a nurse. My husband carried the load as a full-time provider. We just started building our forever home. Here's what I've learned. When God closes one door, opens another, blah, 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 right? Fast forward to yesterday. I no longer am tied to hospital shifts. I'm no longer building someone else's dream. I'm no longer waiting for 2 paychecks a month to make ends meet. Today looked like this. I went and got a dentist appointment for a new crown. I picked up Tinley from school. I spent the afternoon at a volleyball tournament. I came home. I helped a client apply for life insurance. That's what time freedom looks like. Life is still busy, but now I get to build business around my family, not the other way around. If you've been praying for a sign, this is it. Stop waiting. Time's passing. We're hiring, and I'm ready to show you how exactly what you do. Do you see what Steph did here, right? She told people what she does, that she loves it, and that she's hiring, all in one post. Let's look at another one. Kelly Bush posted this one. I thought it was a cute post the other day. How to lose a husband in 10 days. Have him come to work with you. Now, does this specifically outline what she does? No, but it says that she loves it. It says that she's hiring. It gives a picture into her life. The fact that they are down here in a suit and she's in a, I don't know, sequined, whatever that is, right? In the middle of the day taking professional pictures. What do you think that does to her network? Her network's like, wait, how did she get there? What is she doing? And how do I get to be a part of that? So you're building a story with your warm market. My friend Jenny, man, she just called it right out. She said, who do you know? I love the words, by the way, who do you know versus do you know anyone? Do you know anyone is a closed question. Who do you know gets people thinking. And typically they're like, I know me. I want to do this. I'm growing my nationwide agency and actively seeking licensed insurance. We have well-vetted leads, innovative tech, recession-resistant industry. It's a 1099 position, remote work, right? Jenny is a genius. Like her stories almost every day include something about her hiring. So you want to constantly be reiterating. But here's the other thing you have to figure out is a balance between your work stuff and your regular stuff. Like you got to post some things about your dog and about just regular life, right? It can't constantly be, I'm hiring, I'm hiring, I'm hiring, I'm hiring. Michelle Baldwin, this was after conference. 3 days with the most amazing people. We learned about leadership, personal development, blah, 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 blah. Does she say I'm hiring? No. But does she paint a picture of what it's like to be here? Absolutely. People are watching. Every single post that you do, people are watching. And Cree Petty posted this one the other day. I just protected 3 clients with life insurance while sitting in the sun with policies that instantly approved, attended a new call. It goes on. Like it's actually a really long post. Cree's kind of magic in her posting as well. But look at where she's sitting. Like who wouldn't want to be working from that environment? So constantly building that rapport with your warm market is super, super important. Now, while you're doing that, there are ways that you can go and post jobs, right? Let's talk about cold market recruiting. I just want to say this, like, these are a few of the job boards that are out there, but I literally went to Google and I typed in, I think I typed in best job boards for salespeople. And there are so many niche job boards that are out there. What my recommendation is when you start recruiting cold market and you start recruiting from job boards is that you need to set a budget. So no different than you do with leads, you're going to need to commit to a little bit of a spend every week or every month. And most of these are monthly fees, but it doesn't have to be huge, right? Dip your toe in, put one job ad out. None of these are any better than any other of these. I hear it all the time. What are you using? And is it better than what I'm using? The answer is no. The answer is there is an infinite amount of ways to go find cold market people. And what we have to remember is that we're looking for the people who are looking for this opportunity. I don't know what number we're on. Let's put 5. Put a 5 in the chat if you were recruited from a job ad into this job. Love it, right? So there, look, I mean, JT's like team leader, like look at all of this. There's so many people that are out there looking for what we have. And so when you're looking at cold market, the real opportunity is just getting your opportunity in front of those people, right? It's just about getting that ad out there and getting your information to the people who may potentially be looking for what you're looking for. It's a little bit different than warm market, right? Because you only have one chance to get in front of them and make an impression so that they want to apply to your job. But once they apply to your job, man, they're captive for a while, and you get the opportunity to sell them on why this might be the right opportunity for them. So you're going to set a budget. You're going to advertise regularly, just like we add new leads into our funnel every week. We're going to add new recruits into our funnel every single week as well. Follow up with your applicants. You can actually use funnel as a way to track your applicants. You could load your applicants in there and put them on a text campaign, right? You can set them as a recruiting lead and set them as a text campaign. Follow up with them, automate your process, and ask for referrals. If you do an interview with someone and someone says, yeah, I don't think this is for me, great. Who do you know that might be interested in something like this? Because I would love to be able to talk to them. Marcy, that's a thing. What's a thing? I don't know. Funnel. Yeah, it is a thing. Yes, you can load any new contact in there. Now, there are not yet workflows built in for recruiting yet, but the recruiting team is building those out, Marcy. And so they will be released, hopefully in the next few months. But you could easily create your own texts to them, right? And so let's say you've got 30 recruits in there. You could easily send all 30 at one time a text that says, hey, here's a quick video about what we're doing these days. Or here's that Forbes article that said that we were one of the top 10 paying companies in the United States from 2024. Like maybe you could send that. So you can absolutely build drip campaigns to your cold market. And by the way, they are developing recruiting funnels for that. So when we talk about the third thing that you're going to need is time. It is extremely important when you start recruiting, whether warm market or cold market or a blend of both, that when you start generating some activity with applicants, that you time block, time to work with them, time to interview them. You're going to need to look at your calendar. A lot of people do, like, hypothetically, Monday, Tuesday are the days that I recruit, and then Wednesday, Thursdays are the day that I dial, and then Fridays and Saturdays are the day that I run appointments. You can set up your schedule however you want, but you should have time blocks on your calendar to specifically recruit. If you decide today that you want to start recruiting, add an hour in next week. Just add 1 hour. Start here. If you've not ever recruited, start an hour next week. And in that hour, message 10 people in your network. Message 10 people in your network with this message. Hey, Bill, not sure if you remember me. This is Tara, right? But you were in my Rolodex or you were in my phone list, whatever it is, Rolodex. Some of you don't know what Rolodex is, and don't tell me if you don't, because then I'll feel really old. But hey, Bill, this is Tara. We used to work together, or we're cousins or whatever it was. Not sure if you know, but I recently started a life insurance business, and I'm looking for a couple of really motivated people who might want to start a business of their own. Not sure if you'd be interested or not, but really just looking to see if you might know of a couple of people that I could reach out to and introduce this business to. Do that next week. Send that message out to 10 people. Set an hour up. Send that message out to 10 people. See what happens. And then the next week, do it again, right? Your ultimate goal when you start building is that you're going to be working on a balance of 10 sits a week to keep your production up and 10 interviews a week so that you can start building. That's the balance, right? 10 sits and 10 interviews a week. So I promised you, though, that we were going to spend the bulk of our time talking about resources and how we do what we do. Now, I'm going to put a caveat out there about this is how I work my recruiting. Since I've been on board 2.5 years to a little over 2.5 years, I've onboarded 78 agents in that time, right? So I've done a little, right? Of those 78 agents that I've onboarded, I think I've interviewed probably 600 Zoom interviews in that time. And I've probably had, thousands of applicants who have come through the process. My philosophy on recruiting is very, very simple. I am going to cast a really wide net. I am going to then give them the tools to select out. right? I'm not going to waste my time on the people who aren't interested in what we have. And what we have is the ability to grow your own business, the ability to be your own boss, the ability to create a passive income stream for the rest of your life, the ability to manage your own time, the ability to network and grow and be a part of something bigger, with a bunch of entrepreneurs who absolutely love what they do. I'm looking for people who are looking for that. I'm looking for people who are willing to work hard. This job is not easy, right? I'm looking for people who are willing to work hard. I'm looking for people who are people. I'm looking for people who are motivated, driven, hard-headed, stubborn, have a high level of stick-to-itiveness, right? Those are all things I'm looking for. So when you start recruiting, there's some resources that you need to make sure that you have available to you. This is how I do it. Do it how you want. There are a lot of different ways. This is how I do it. First of all, you're going to need a job description. There are thousands of job descriptions out there. There is not one that is correct. There is not one that's incorrect. ChatGPT is an incredible tool for helping you create a job description. If you want to message me, feel free to message me. I have a whole folder of them that I've collected over time that you can steal, beg, borrow, steal from. My advice to you, though, is when you're writing your job description, make it unique to you. Algorithms on job boards, algorithms will kick you out if yours is a direct copy paste, right? So you want to make sure that it is customized to you. I do a personal video. So when I post a job ad, they are going to apply. The very first thing that I do is I send them a video of me. These are people who are going to be potentially working for and with you. So why not introduce them to you? So I'm going to click on this. I don't know what it's going to do to the screen when I click this button, so bear with me. So my personal video, can you still see my screen with me up there? Can you see that? Can you see my face with the purple hair? Yes? Okay, good. So I have created a quick, I don't know how long it is, 4-minute video. Let's see. Yeah, 4 minutes and 39 seconds of me, right? And this is an introduction to my agency. Again, I'm happy to share this with you. The introductory video goes through a high level overview of the position. It goes through what it takes to be successful here. It highlights the fact that this is a 1099 job. I actually say the words in this video. If you're looking for a job where you're going to get a regular paycheck, and if you're looking for a job where somebody's going to tell you what to do, this is not for you. I help rule them out right then. But if you are looking for an opportunity to grow your own business, develop your own empire, I think I actually do say empire in there, like this is for you, right? So I introduce them to the business and I invite them to apply further. So they have applied to the job description, they get a personal video from me. When they get that personal video back, I then send them, when they get that personal video, it has a note in there that says, hey, when you watch this, if you're interested, send me an email to my tara@taraowenslife.com and let me know that you're interested and we'll set up an interview. What do you think happens when I send that video out? What do you think the percentage is? Just guess, right? Of, let's say I send out 20 responses of watch this video and tell me if you're interested. How many out of those 20 do you think come back as, yes, I'm interested, let's do this? 1 out of 20, less than 30%. Honestly, I probably get 5 to 6 that will say, yeah, let's set up an interview. So 20 applicants, let's just go with 5 or 6. Now, once they get they respond back and say, hey, yeah, Tara, I want to do this. I want to move forward with an interview. I send them my Calendly link. The minute that they put a meeting on my calendar, I then send them the corporate overview. Great. Just saw that your interview hit my calendar. Super excited to meet with you tomorrow. Before we meet, I want you to watch this corporate overview. It's longer. It's going to give you a very detailed overview of the position. It's going to show you a lot about our compensation. It's going to show you about how you get paid, how you get promoted, all of those things. It's going to answer a lot of your questions, but it's going to leave you with a lot more. And that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow in our interview, is what questions are you still left with? So I use a corporate overview that is Jamie and Corey. All right. You can use whichever one you want. There are a million of them out there, right? But you can see it goes through all kinds of stuff, right? At the very end of me sending them that email with the corporate overview, I also say, if when you watch this corporate overview, you are no longer interested in the position, just delete the meeting off my calendar. Of the 5 or 6 that said, yes, I want to interview, and then watch that 40-minute overview, yes, I have usually 1 or 2 of them that just completely cancel. Does it hurt my feelings? Nope. I'm looking for the people who are looking for me. I'm looking for the people who are looking for this opportunity. I want them to know, coming into my interview with them, what they're walking into. So I'm not wasting my time with them, on a 15, 20, 45-minute interview if they've not watched this video. So I then have an interview script, and this is what we're going to go through next. I have an interview script that I go through with them. And then the last resource that you will need is your onboarding plan. The great thing about Symmetry is we already have an onboarding plan. You don't have to make up your own. Jim has a beautiful one that's on his website. I've created my own. The Jandersons have their own. Jenny's got hers. Like, we've all got our own onboarding plans that are, you can build out your own, or you can just plug in to Jim's. You can just plug into what Symmetry has. We have Summit, we have so many things, but onboarding plan is very, very important to get your people to where they need to be. So let's now talk about our interviews. So I've talked about how I do it. I want to show you my interview script. And this is, I'm actually going to send you a link. Let me make sure that this is the one that I can send you. Yes. I'm going to add this to, I'm going to put this in the chat. Feel free to use this if you like it. All right. Hopefully it doesn't ask you for permission. I think it's the one that will allow you to just do it. Here's my interview script. Now, guys, this is where my 30 years of recruiting experience really came into play. Jenny, can you give me a thumbs up? Do I need to screen? Okay, we're good here. Okay. I couldn't figure out who I could see here. So here's my initial interview. So first of all, my recommendations are share that corporate overview before their applicant gets to your interview. You should schedule your interviews for 30 to 45 minutes. The reason I schedule 30 to 45 minutes is because they've got a whole lot of information coming into that meeting. A lot of people do a 15-minute interview in the beginning and then schedule a second interview. Do it however you want to do it, right? There's no wrong or right. I'm just sharing with you what I do. I do my interviews for about 30 minutes, but I also block my calendar for another 30 minutes because I find that when I get really, really involved with people, we tend to keep going and keep talking. So I always do my interviews by Zoom. I want to meet this person eye to eye. I want to know what they look like, who they are, how do they present themselves to that meeting. Are they, this in their phone, or are they in their pajamas, or no lie, are they walking their dog, or, do they take this seriously? Because this is a pretty serious position and you need to take this seriously. So I do Zoom interviews. The morning of the interview, I do send them a reminder to verify that they have watched the overview and that they are still interested in meeting. If they have not watched the overview, I ask them to reschedule. Don't waste my time. Okay. Sorry, I'm a little bit of a hard ass sometimes. Oh, another beep. So Instagram now bleeps you out. I feel like Zoom should figure that out too. So here's the goals of every interview. My goal in every interview, number one, is to uncover your motivation. Why is this person looking? What are they looking for? Sarah Reinecke says, what is the big dissatisfaction that brought them here, right? What are they looking? Why? Everyone has a why that they're looking. I want to uncover that motivation. I am going to determine behavioral traits to predict future performance. This is a behavioral-based interviewing style. Do you think that someone who has quit every single thing that they've ever tried is going to be good at this job? Nope, they're not, right? So we're looking for people who are willing to fight through the hard. So how do we find those people? I'm going to observe leading indicators. I'm going to do then a quick overview of what we do, and then we're going to start answering questions. So here's my script. Get right into it. How do I uncover their motivation? That's exactly what I say. Oh my gosh, Sid, it is so great for you to have joined me today. I'm super excited. I've read your resume. I'm very excited to learn a little bit about your background and know what brought you here today. We've got a lot to talk about, but before we would get started, I'd like to get to know you just a little bit better. Can you tell me about your professional journey? What do you do now and how did you get here? And then I stop and I let them walk through what they have been through. You learn a lot about people when they talk you through the job moves that they've made. Like they'll tell you why they shifted jobs and what they liked about it or didn't. My favorite question in the whole interview process is, what do you like most about what you're currently doing? If someone says to me, I love that I'm by myself and I don't have to talk to people and I'm, an introvert, like they're not going to do this job very well, right? If you could change 3 things about your current situation, what would those be? And then what's the most exciting job you've ever had and why? This part of the interview sometimes takes me 10 minutes to get through this section. I've not talked about symmetry. I've not talked about what we do. I've not said one word about leads. I've not talked about anything. I've asked them questions to get them talking. I want to hear what their motivation is. Now we move on to behavioral-based questions. I usually start with a couple. If I don't get what I'm looking for out of those, I might go to another, but these are a few that you could use to understand those behaviors that you're looking for. Is this someone who can do this job? You can also chat GPT this, right? Go into chat GPT and say, I'm looking for behavioral-based questions that will help me understand someone's drive and motivation. But if in their uncovering their motivation, I thought, something about them tells me that they may not be disciplined. They may not have the ability to make themselves work and make themselves do the hard part of this job. I go straight to, so, Bill, can you tell me about a time when you had to manage your schedule and workload independently to achieve a goal? How did you prioritize your tasks and stay motivated without close supervision? Why is that important? That's important because everything we do is on our own time. Everything we do, we are doing in our own like we have to stay motivated with it, right? It's super easy to not make a dial and go put a load of laundry in. It takes discipline to sit in your desk and actually make these dials. So I'm looking for that. Maybe I want to know, so describe a time when you had to explain something complicated or sensitive to someone who didn't understand or wasn't interested. How did you handle that? Now, this pro tip down here is super important. Be really careful to not answer these questions for your candidate. You're going to ask the question and then you're going to get real silent. That silent part is the hard part because you want to fill in the blanks. These are hard questions, and it's going to take them a minute to actually come up with an answer. So let them think through it. Just give them the time. Now, we're now probably 15 minutes into our interview. I'm going to sit back at this moment and ask myself, how is this person handling these questions? Do they seem engaged? Do they seem uncomfortable? Are they leaning into my questions and providing thoughtful answers? Are they personable and do they seem motivated? If the answer is no to more than a couple of these, I am going to be like, you know what, Bill, it was so great for you to spend some time with me today. I really appreciated the time. I've got another couple of rounds of interviews that I'm doing. And if we look for, if we're going to move forward with the second one, I'll let you know. Thank you for your time. And then I end the interview. 15 minutes. If I know they don't have it, I end the interview. I'm over. I'm out. Peace. Right? I'm looking for the people who I see the winners, right? If I am interested in moving forward, here's where the fun part starts. And this is all in the interview script that you have access to now. So you've watched that corporate overview that I sent you. What stands out to you about that video? Again, they're doing all the talking at this point still. All I'm doing is asking questions. What most intrigues you or interests you about what you learned? What about this sounds most appealing? Based on what you know so far, what makes you think you would be successful in this business? Ooh, love that one, Arthur. What motivates you about helping others? Man, that may get added to the script. That's really good. And I want to know, like, and by the way, I'm taking notes the whole time. Like, I can go back on everybody I've interviewed. I know exactly what you said when you answered these questions. And then I go into who we are, right? Now I know, like, they're bought in, they're vested, I'm interested. And so I go into talking about how great we are, who we are, what we do. I talk about the structure. I'm an agency owner. You're going to be a part of my agency. You have the ability to build your own franchise and grow your own agency. I talk about what good looks like, right? You're active in meetings, you're attending 2 corporate events each year, Conference and Ignite, like it's a non-negotiable. Like, we're talking about those things in the interview. You're supportive of teammates, you're active on GroupMe. I'm painting the picture of what good looks like. And then I close down the interview. What questions do you have about everything that we've discussed today? Based on our conversation today, it sounds like to me that what we have at Symmetry could be a good solution to help you achieve whatever their goals are. If we were to move forward with an offer, how strong would your level of commitment to success be? And then we move forward. And then I make them an offer, and then they join, and then they build their own agencies, and we all get to 130, and then we spend a lot of time on the beach. So, are there any questions? We're right at 7:59 or 8:59 or 6:59 or whatever time it is in your world. I hope this was helpful to you. I hope this was helpful. Take this script, use it, modify it, use ChatGPT for it. Just get structured in the way that you are running your interviews. Get consistent in how you're running your interviews. It will absolutely help you make better hiring decisions if you're doing the same process every single time. So, hope you have a wonderful night, And I will see you all tomorrow in the Mac room. Bye.